Hello everybody and welcome back to Space Engine. Now, my last video didn't have any comments, so no one told me where to go, so I'm just going to talk about pretty much whatever this episode. So, pretty much a normal episode. Oh, by the way, on that note, if you have suggestions, don't make like huge lists of places to go, because YouTube tends to filter those out as spam, even if they're not technically spam. So I don't actually get comments like that, which, it's kind of irritating. I wish YouTube would, like, not, but whatever. Wow, that was lucky. A white main sequence star with a planet with life? Really? Cool. Onward. Oh, it's a cold titan. Subglacial life. Well then. And it has rings. Well, that's kind of pretty. Okay, go away. There we go. Oh my no! I think I'm gonna sneeze here in a minute. You know, I kind of like that. Let's check the atmosphere. Mostly nitrogen, bit of argon, carbon monoxide, helium, carbon dioxide, neon, and krypton. That's similar to, well, the lots of nitrogen is similar to a Titan, which has lots of nitrogen in its atmosphere, but it also has a whole bunch of hydrocarbons. So this is a fairly primitive atmosphere comparatively. Interesting. I kind of like the little rings. They're kind of nice. I always like ring-ed planets. What's new in the world of science technology? Opportunity died. That was kind of sad. I kind of figured it would have, because after that dust storm and they lost contact, it was not looking good. So, I wasn't terribly shocked. Still sad though, because Opportunity was supposed to last 90 days and it lasted like 15 years. That's impressive. That's dedication. Of course, Spirit died, what, in 2010? And Sojourner died, like in the 90s. Shortly after it landed, actually. The Prop M rover died immediately. That was the Soviet one that kind of walked along the surface. I made a Gmod video of it. It was a little kind of a joke video, but still, that's basically literally what it was. It was on, I think, Mars 2 or Mars 3? Mars 4? One of the early Soviet Mars missions. And, it landed on Mars, but for some reason, this isn't working. It landed on Mars, but, oh, I'm doing it wrong. Okay. It landed on Mars, but it wasn't deployed, so it just kind of... Yeah, actually, the liner didn't fare too well, anyways. To be fair, so yeah. I still like some of the early Soviet missions. They're really cool. Like the Prop M lander, although it didn't work, it was still really nice. It's kind of fun. I like want to build a model of it and have it just walk around my house, kind of like a Roomba that doesn't actually do anything. Probably terrify my cats. Actually, it'd probably disturb one of the cats, and the other one would probably, like, break it, because that's what he does. I say that, and he's actually peacefully sleeping on, next to me, so... But, it's all a ruse. He's a monster. This is kind of a nice little shot. Look at that. From the moon. What kind of moon is this? It's a warm Selena. Interesting. Ooh, and it's gone. NASA's really committing to go back to the moon. They'll get there sometime late 2028, which means that it won't actually happen, so... I really wish NASA actually had, like, funding and stability, but they don't, so... Whenever they make long-term plans these days, I don't have confidence in them. Like, the space station's one thing, because it's kept on track, but everything else always just stops. Like, there was multiple heavy lift rocket ideas that, they were like, we're gonna make this and it's gonna be great, and then they didn't. And then it's like, we're gonna make things to replace the space shuttle, and then they don't. And then it's like, we're gonna go to Mars, and then they decide we're gonna go back to the moon, and we're gonna go to Mars again, and then, ooh, here's Project Constellation, it's gonna be great, we're gonna be back on the moon by 2010, and they canceled it. and they're like, here's the SLS rocket that'll launch for the first time on a test mission in like 15 years, and it will become a really impractical and useless rocket, and it'll keep getting delayed. What's unfortunate is the scientists and engineers working at NASA actually want to do stuff, but the contractors don't. And the reasoning for this is money. They like long-term big projects. Is that the same one? They like long-term big projects that, like, they give them a lot of money, and they make a lot of money, and they have a lot of jobs, but they don't actually get anywhere. Like, they'll have a long-term project that builds rockets and a vehicle, and then after, like, 5 years, they scrap it, and then do another big project that gives them lots of money. And that just seems to be what happens. Because, like, Constellation, the Ares 1 launched, like, they did a test launch, and they were like, oh, the rocket shakes too much, we're not going to use it. And it's like, okay, every single human-rated rocket NASA has built during tests has shaken so violently it would have killed the crew. They fixed the problem and keep going, but they decided not to. So, like, the Mercury Redstone, during testing, it was found to be, like, so violent in vibration that it would have killed everybody. But then they learned how to put in dampeners that stopped that, and then it became a viable rocket. Whatever. So, will NASA get to the moon? I would like to think so. I don't think so, but I would like to think they do. I sincerely hope I'm wrong. I really, really, really hope I'm wrong. But knowing NASA's current track record, I don't see it. Like, you watch, I almost can guarantee you, by sometime 2025, somewhere in there, SLS is going to be cancelled. Actually, probably 2022 is like the earliest when SLS will be cancelled for a new rocket, because it's going to be, quote-unquote, behind schedule and overpriced, just like Constellation was. So, we can wait. Unfortunately, it's up to private interests to get us back into space, because the national space agencies are quite trash. Actually, China's is doing pretty good. They actually seem to care. Russia's, they're kind of like NASA, but worse in terms of like building rockets. And it's not a quality thing. It's literally just they have ideas for rockets they want to build, and they're all really cool, but they get stuck in purgatory and they never get built. Like, there's one, I forget what it was called, but it's been in like construction purgatory for like 20 years. Or their Soyuz replacement. There's no even real, like, there isn't a rocket to launch it, and there's no date at which they're going to test it. It's just like, we're going to build this, but we're not going to actually give our space agency money to do it. And yeah, it's all a pipe dream. And with NASA, it's like, we're going to build this, but the contractors are going to drop out and make us build something else for a bit, and we're going to be stuck in this cycle of building large projects to make them money, all the while NASA doesn't actually get anywhere. So unfortunately, we have private interests that'll probably get us places, which I guess isn't a terrible idea. It's just my opinions of billionaires is not great. it's really not great. But whatever. Who knows? Maybe in the next few years, NASA will actually have a stable administration, and they'll actually, like, you know, care, or the contractors will actually care about space exploration and not just pipe dreams to make money. But knowing Lockheed Martin, they wouldn't, because there's the weapons manufacturer. They care more about killing people than actually doing anything useful. Boeing, I could see them actually, I can see their Starliner actually, like, going places, because they seem to care. But so many of the other ones, they're so terrible. Ah, cold ice world with life. Yeah, I hate Lockheed Martin. Just throwing that out there. They're absolutely evil. People are like, oh, but they're an aerospace asset. Yeah, they're evil. So, like, who do you think got the U.S. to invade Iraq? I'll give you a hint. It was all the congressmen who were paid by Lockheed Martin and Raytheon, because it was a useless war. It wouldn't accomplish anything, but war is good for weapons contractors, so they saw an opportunity to do it, and they did it. Whatever. That's not a fun topic. It's an interesting little moon I found. It's subglacial. Kind of like Europa, or Callisto, or Ganymede, or Triton. Pretty much any of the ice moons, because there's a lot of them. It's actually quite interesting that water is found in more abundance outside the habitable zone of our solar system than it is within it. It's like Europa alone has more water than Earth does, and that's kind of cool. Granted, a lot of it's frozen, but still, it's water. Frozen like ice is still just frozen water. But then again, does that mean that lava and rock are two different things? Because one's just the liquid phase of the other. But then again, a rock isn't really an element. A rock just means any number of things. I guess like igneous rock. Geology. Or actually, that's volcanology. I wanted to be a volcanologist when I was like 5. I really liked volcanoes back in the day. Still do, but, you know, priorities change. Actually, there's a lot of jobs I could do, or like fields I could get into and enjoy. But, you know. Excuse me. I don't even know where I am. I'm just in some random galaxy in the middle of absolute nowhere. Let's find a different galaxy. So let's hop to the nearest to a nearby galaxy. Okay, let's check this one out. Boop. Ooh, it's a very irregular. Kind of reminds me of the Large Magellanic Cloud. That's always fun. A lot of bright young stars here. Yeah, hot, like, OB and stars. Ooh, hey, yellow dwarf. A G2 type yellow dwarf. Dude, that's just like our sun. Okay, not exactly. Ours is like G2... Actually, it might be G25. 1 minute, let's check. Sol. Sol is a G25. Yeah, it is a G25. So it's only slightly different. Well, that's a G835. Well, isn't that interesting? Wait, what was that? That was a Wolf-Rayet star? Oh, yeah. These things. I would be lying if I knew exactly what they were, but they sound familiar, so there's something familiar about them. Oop. Oh, dear God, that's bright. Like, I actually felt pain in my eyes as my iris is readjusted to that. It's just a blue main sequence. It's a Wolf-Rayet star. What's the deal with these? That name is so familiar. Info. Physical? I'll have to look it up later. Because that sounds so familiar, but I can't pinpoint it. Oh dear God, that's bright. I guess being a star, it's supposed to be bright. You know, that actually brings up a good question. Is solar power technically fusion power? Because the energy utilized by solar power is photons produced by the sun, and the sun utilizes fusion. So on Earth anyways, or in the solar system, one could say that solar power is fusion power, it's just at a distance. But then again, you can also use solar panels like around white dwarfs, and they don't fuse, so it would only kind of, that line of reasoning would only work around like main sequence stars, and it might not even work at all, because it's kind of dumb, but whatever. It's kind of like the engineering equivalent of, is a hot dog a sandwich? You know, it's just a dumb question, but it's kind of an amusing question, because is a hot dog a sandwich? I don't know. I think it's in a class of its own. Honestly, it's like a sausage and a bun. Is a hamburger a sandwich? Yeah, I'd say a hamburger's a sandwich. This is what happens when I have no direction. I just ramble about stupid things like that. Oh well. Well, speaking of light, actually, I've been doing some... Well, I'm making some infrared flashlights to use for my next airsoft video. Because I got a camera, this itty bitty little camera that I can put on my hat, actually. and it has an infrared mode, or like a night vision mode that has like 5 infrared LEDs on it, and it works kind of cool, but the lights are they're not bright enough, basically. So I was like, well, I'm gonna get a couple infrared flashlights and put them, one on my gun and one like somewhere on my person, so just to kind of give illumination in dark or dim places without giving away my position, because infrared can't be seen with the naked eye. And I was looking around and found that infrared flashlights can be kind of expensive, and the cheap ones are not to be trusted. So I was like, I'll just make my own then. And you can actually make infrared flashlights using either photo negatives or like photo negatives or floppy disks, like little diskette thingies. And I couldn't find any film negatives, so which you'd think I'd have, because I have everything in my house. But I did order a couple floppy disks specifically for this purpose. And it was funny because I was trying them out. Let's check the information on this moon. I was trying them out with different flashlights, and I found that LED flashlights don't work. Like, the LED flashlights don't produce any usable amounts of infrared radiation. And then I turned on my lava lamp, and I took the lamp out of it, and I tried that, and it produced a crap ton of infrared light, and it was able to light up the entire, like, my entire room in infrared. And at first I was kind of confused by that, but then I kind of thought about it, and it made actual perfect sense. Because anyone who has LED lights, which every single light in my house is LED, and they never warm up. Like, they can get kind of mildly warm to the touch, but they never get hot. No matter how long they're on for, they never get hot. Whereas an incandescent light bulb, they get really hot. And it's like, yeah, of course incandescent lights would produce infrared and LEDs wouldn't, just from that physical observation alone, because infrared light is generally what produces heating in... It isn't the only one, but it's one of the hottest wavelengths, basically. And so things that are hot produce lots of infrared, and it's like, yeah, and like my light for my my lava lamp, of course it's supposed to heat up. It produces a lot of infrared because of that, and it's like, that's just perfectly logical. And actually, it's like, I think 80% of the light emitted by incandescent light bulbs is infrared, only like 15% is visible or something like that. And it's like, alright, so I have to go get some incandescent flashlights to make infrared lights out of, and it'll be kind of cool. I'm looking forward to it. I need to find incandescent flashlights. They're not terribly easy to find anymore, but I'll find them. If I have to, I have to order them online. They do exist. But, you know, whatever. Actually, I was going to go again. My overall goal for airsoft is to try to go at least twice a month, like once every 2 weeks kind of thing. Because now that I have all my own gear, it's actually really cheap. It's like $15 per, and that's really reasonable. But the weather has been really bad here, and I need to get my gun in for repair, or not repairs, but I need to swap out the internals, because anyone who watched the video, I mentioned that it was actually very inaccurate and crappy. And unfortunately, the airsoft place is 20 minutes on the other side of town, and I can't make that, just for general mental health reasons, but also just the car we use doesn't have heat right now, so it's just not worth it. And yeah, it's been quite cold. Like, we had a very mild winter overall, but now the last couple of weeks it's gotten down to like -28, -30. For a couple days there, it was like -35 with a wind chill of -40 or -45, and it's like, yeah, I'm not going outside. This is all Celsius, by the way. It's easy to convert, just use Google. And so I'm not going to be doing that, but a friend of mine's going over to get his P90 fixed some point whenever the weather clears up, it gets a little better, so he'll take my gun with him, and I can get it fixed up. So, a new airsoft video, theoretically, in a few more weeks. I don't know exactly when, but I'll try. If the opportunity arises, I'll go even with my gun in its current state. Like, it isn't great, but I can still use it and make footage. But the recording will be much better, because I'll have, for sure, I'll have a camera on my mask or my hat with infrared lights that can, you know, actually make it look usable. And depending on when I go, I might have a zoom cam on my gun as well. They're expensive, so I'm actually gonna make my own, 'cause I have a whole bunch of lenses, and if I can get it to work, then I'll buy another one of these little cameras and just use it with lenses to make a zoom cam, because that'll be exciting. I'm basically gonna like fine-tune all of my airsoft recording equipment just for indoor. Like, I want to do outdoor, but because of reasons, I'm probably not gonna be able to do outdoor anytime soon, so it'll be indoor. But I'm gonna try to get good and showcase that indoor sniping can actually be really fun, because everyone doesn't believe me, but it actually is a lot of fun. You lose a lot, but it's fun. Anyways, I'll leave it off there. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll be back with more videos later. The next one's gonna be the 100th video. I'll probably do a longer video for that. I'll have something planned. I don't know. But thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Comment below. I don't know. Call me names or something. I like feedback, so comment. So yeah, space.